Welcome, everyone here at ASMT Berlin, everyone dialing in from the live stream to the Global Solutions Summit 2023. We are thrilled to see you here. We are very excited that all of you at home and in your offices all over the globe took the time to dial in. And I know that many of you have made a lot of efforts to be here today. It's been long travels for many of you. It's been a lot of emails back and forth about visa, about train strikes, about where to find the link to the live stream. So we are very happy you're here. I'll be your conference moderator. I'll be guiding you through the next days to come. But obviously, I'm the least important person in all of this because this is all about you. This is all about convening, about coming together, about sharing perspectives and the things we know and about learning things that we don't know yet from each other. You're one of thousands, actually. That's a nice thing to say. We haven't seen so many of you here in a long time today, so make the best of the fact. Be in touch, share what you know, meet at ASMT and you online. You can have us follow your trains of thought if you use the hashtag. That's GSS2023 when you take the discussion online. Also here at ASMT, be welcome to do that so that we can connect with the people who can't be here today. Very much against my nature, I'm going to leave this floor to all of you now, but I'm going to be talking much more later, I'm afraid. I'm hoping that my voice will carry through, but I'm very well taken care of by everyone in my team. And for now, I'm going to leave the opening to this summit to our founder and president, Professor Dennis Stower. Please.
Dear Professor Rocholl, Your Excellencies, friends, participants, I welcome you to the Global Solutions Summit 2023 in support of the T20 India, T7 Japan, and other G20 and G7 groups. The Global Solutions Summit takes place in troubled times. Global crises are proliferating, and we know that around the world, a deep resignation is setting in, that we are locked into an economic and political system that privileges the pursuit of narrow self-interest over the self-interest embedded in the common good, that excludes far too many from fair participation in prosperity, that does not distinguish between needs and wants, and that is headed for environmental collapse. Economic and political success are increasingly becoming decoupled from social and environmental prosperity. And the many crises that we face in the world today, financial crises, misinformation, digital manipulation, conflicts of identity politics, climate change, biodiversity loss, and much more, are all symptoms of this decoupling. Where does the fault lie? Does it lie with market economies? Does it lie with democracies? These are the questions that I've discussed with people in many different countries and cultures, and I'm amazed at the degree of broad agreement that I've got with the following 5 insights. First, economic decoupling is not the fault of market economies. Market economies are systems that enable people to mobilize resources in the pursuit of given goals. And if these goals are specified inappropriately, then the market economy will function inappropriately as well. To correct this problem, we require new goals, new measures of national and business success that includes not only economic, but also social and environmental prosperity. Second, political decoupling is not the fault of democracies. Democracies are systems that empower people to engage in collective action to tackle collective problems. And if a democratic process leads to social alienation and disempowerment, well, then it is time to reform that process. And empirical evidence indicates that people do manage their collective challenges well, provided that their political process generates strong identities, that the process itself is participatory, inclusive, and fair, that agreed behaviors are monitored, that there are graduated sanctions for bad behavior and graduated rewards for good behavior, that there's fast and fair conflict resolution, that the authority to self-govern at local levels is recognized, and that collaborative relations among participatory political groups is encouraged. Democratic processes need to keep adapting along these lines. Third, market economies and democracies are not ends in themselves, but rather means to promote human flourishing. There are many different kinds of market economies embedded in many different kinds of societies and polities, and many different kinds of democracies that give people diverse opportunities to either assume or delegate the authority to govern. But when particular forms of democracy or particular forms of market economy lead to decoupling, then it is time for systems change, a change in the economic and political system. And this is fundamental and vital and hopefully needs to sink in this conference. Fourth, systemic change cannot be achieved through incremental adjustments with everybody acting on their own. No, it requires instead a fundamental transformation of our mindsets and the rules that govern economies, polities, and societies. So the change that we require is one where economics and politics should serve society, not the other way around, where citizens should be able to pursue their life goals in harmony with nature and their social fabric, and where businesses should be able to compete for profit, suitably redefined, while at the same time enhancing environmental and social sustainability. And this type of systemic change, very fundamental, requires collaboration among all the relevant stakeholders at the level that matches the level of the collective challenge. So to recognize where the collective challenge lies, climate change is global, water shortage is regional, and so on, is absolutely critical, and that's where we need to collaborate. And fifth and finally, failures to tackle collective challenges are in essence moral failures. And the reason for this is simple, that the functional purpose of moral values across religions, nations, and cultures is to promote the common good and to suppress destructive selfishness. And in fact, our ability to do this stuff is responsible for much of our evolutionary success, the evolutionary success of Homo sapiens. And in fact, our evolutionary success can be traced back to just a few absolutely core characteristics that we have. One is solidarity, care, social belonging, the stuff that makes us collaborate in large numbers. The other is agency, our ability to shape our life through our own efforts. The third is gain, our ability to satisfy our basic material needs. And the last is environmental sustainability. These factors, solidarity, agency, gain, and environmental sustainability, SAGE, they embody a sage approach to life, a basic wisdom. And they correspond to moral values: care, liberty, utility, ecoethics. And the pursuit and satisfaction of these moral values is a deep source of human flourishing. Now, the Global Solutions Initiative seeks to put these insights into the service of global problem solving. And as one of our projects, conducted in conjunction with the New Institute and the Institute of New Economic Thinking in Oxford, we're launching an initiative to measure solidarity, agency, gain, and environmental sustainability, and to do so with the same regularity as GDP is measured for gain. And so far, our data set encompasses 168 countries, and we plan to measure business prosperity along analogous lines. So our ambition is that some broadly accepted version of these measures will become the basis for new reporting and accounting principles, new incentive and governance systems, all in the service of recoupling. Now, the implications of this for public policy and business strategy are far-reaching. And in concluding, I just want to give you 3 examples. One is digital empowerment. The SAGE approach to digital governance gives people, first of all, access to digital services, and then control over their personal data and the terms on which this data is shared with others. So this digital governance reform respects the agency of people and the solidarity of their communities in global commons. And the Global Solutions Initiative, together with the Global Initiative on Digital Empowerment and the New Institute in Hamburg, is mobilizing global efforts in this direction. Secondly, climate action. Climate policies and green business strategies are often designed primarily around environmental and economic concerns. Now, a SAGE approach to climate policy is not only environmentally appropriate and economically feasible, but it's also socially acceptable in the sense that it promotes personal agency and the solidarity of communities. And finally, monetary and fiscal policies. The SAGE approach to monetary and fiscal policies pursues not only economic goals within planetary boundaries, but also promotes solidarity and agency promoting measures that empower people to shape their destinies and to strengthen their communities, all as part of the monetary and fiscal policies themselves. Now, you, dear participants in the Global Solutions Summit, will all be coming with your own recommendations for the G20 and the G7. And it's clear that different cultures, nations, religions will require different pathways towards human flourishing, but all leading to a common goal, which is thriving societies, civic empowerment, economic sufficiency, and worldwide environmental sustainability. And in this spirit, let us seize the opportunity to work together for a systemic change that promotes human flourishing for all. Thank you very much, and it's now my great pleasure and honor to welcome to the stage Jörg Rocholl, President of ESMT.
Thank you very much, Professor Snauer. Thank you very much, Dennis. Thank you very much for the kind introduction. And it's not only to thank you for the kind words, but also for the great cooperation over the last couple of years, for many years now. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to ESMT, to the Global Solutions Summit. And as we heard, and as we are all very delighted to see finally in person again. It is that we at ESMT enjoy very much this cooperation, given that the Global Solutions Summit provides a platform for the world's leading minds to propose and debate research-based policy recommendations. Dennis just mentioned some, probably many of those challenges that we currently face geopolitically: climate policy, energy transition, global health, and the need for multilateralism, combined with all the major parts we need to deal with: the Russian war against Ukraine, the energy and supply shortages, cyber threats, very important pandemics, and as I said, climate change. This is so important also to us here that we actually need to collaborate, we need to cooperate, we need to discuss together and derive thoughts and suggestions of how we can solve, how we can address all these parts. In fact, many of them resemble and show that they are parts of human efforts, but also human failures. But that also should give us optimism in being able to also bring together the best minds, the best ideas to tackle and solve these problems. Here at ESMT, and many of you know, but those of you who are here for the first time, I'd like to just say, this used to be the headquarters of socialism on German soil, this very building. You can see here 40 meters of Meissen tiles in the way in which the East German government viewed itself and how it actually thought of itself, its life, industry, but also leisure and other activities. And this is a place now that hosts ESMT, an international business school that has it as its mission to educate entrepreneurial leaders who think globally and act responsibly. And this is a very important part, as the young generation is a very fundamental part of the solutions we would like to tackle, as I'd like to always come back to as something our students said about themselves, to actually be the change makers we need to tackle the challenges we just mentioned. We have here almost 90 different nationalities, 90 different nationalities of students, and I'm very delighted that the program also includes 30 of our students, so that also the voice, the views by the young generation will be also reflected in their thoughts, in their views. And in that sense, what I mentioned, the fact that this used to be the headquarters of socialism on German soil, now maybe resembles one of the nicest ironies we can imagine, that now globally minded entrepreneurial leaders and also young leaders come together here to think about a sustainable future. And therefore, let's be reminded in our discussion here that we can bring together these different perspectives. We need to bring together these different perspectives to come up with solutions that transcend the day, that are originated here, but will help us going forward in finding very important solutions. So therefore, let's take this joint responsibility of acting together and working on long-term solutions. I'm very delighted that the Global Solutions Summit takes place here at ESMT. For those of you who would like to learn a little bit more about the building, its history, there will be also guided tours during the day and also tomorrow. So please make use of them to not only see this one, but also, for example, see the former Chancellor's office and many other secret parts of ESMT. So in that sense, let's have a very lively, inspiring discussions, lots of new insights, and let's try to provide the basis for tackling all these significant problems we currently face. And let's use our ingenuity, our creativity, our thoughts in best thinking about how to tackle them. Thank you very much.